Hello, everybody. I am here to talk about today something that's really cool. And I'm looking over here because I got a second screen. I'm not really sure I'm going to do this. I don't want to spend a bunch of time on it, but it's basically AI art. And from what it looks like, I'm not an AI early adopter of AI art. And what I saw, it's like, it's kind of cool, but it's kind of BS. But then I started playing with it yesterday, and I'm like totally obsessed with it, and it's cool the amount of stuff you can do. So the one that I'm using, if I can find its name, is called Midjourney, and the way it works is it's works through Discord. So you can use Discord, which is like a chat server, and it connects up to that for an interface, and then you can type out command lines, which is really easy. You just do slash, or depending like this, I don't know which way it goes, imagine, and then a bunch of keywords, and it's really cool. So let me show you how it works if I can actually get this to do what I want it to do. Screen share. Let's go ahead and just do screen. No, that's too much. Let's do this. So we'll do my web browser here, and I'll shrink it down so it's not too crazy. Change some stuff here. Thanks for bearing with me. So these are kind of like basically the way you do things is, let's go into one of the channels that isn't mine, so I can't. I wonder how this works here if I put it out. Anyway, these are just, let's go to a newbie channel just to see what kind of newbies are doing. So here's kind of what newbies are doing. Here's some pictures. And kind of the way it works is basically if you type imagine down here, so I'm typing imagine. And then it gives you a prompt, and then you just put a bunch of keywords. And what's really cool about the keywords is that basically you can put in, like, the AI doesn't know that it's not supposed to be hyper realistic. The AI doesn't know that it can't act like a 3D rendering tool. So let's just put in something simple to get started. Let's do panoramic Grand Canyon, and you can play with commas and stuff. Let's do hyper realistic photo realism, and these are just keywords. You don't have to put a lot of keywords in. It just, the more you give it, it tends to do well. Do some trees, some snow. Let's do a aspect ratio. That's a flag. You do dash dash. AR, which stands for aspect ratio, and let's do 16:9. And again, you can watch people as they do this. Let's get mine going. And then what it does is it kicks off a job. Oops. It doesn't want me going in the newbie channel anymore. That sucks. All right. I'm too advanced. So let's go ahead and go to one of the general channels. See, and just look at the type of stuff that people are making. It's so varied. It's all over the place. And I'll go through and show a bunch of stuff that I did, which is pretty cool. Anyway, let's get something started here. So I'm just going to type that imagine in. I get the prompt, and then I go ahead and get my, oops, I don't need this anymore. Get my image going. So kind of like what I was saying is the computer doesn't know that it's not supposed to act like a 3D renderer. And I'll show you some of the stuff that I did earlier that is just amazing. And for me to, let's see how this goes. They usually take a minute, so I'll blab, and then I'll just go through some of the awesome stuff you can do. So setting up a 3D scene with a background, say a bar, you might be able to get away with, say, putting just a picture of a bar, and then you rig your 3D character, move them around, have them sit in the bar, and then you render it. That whole process would take just a real long time. Of course, you have if you're talented enough, which I'm not, you have creative control over everything. But you know, in this case, as long as you're cool with the computer basically selecting angles and stuff for you, and we'll talk about limitations of this too. So it may have finished here. So yeah, look at that. And then, I mean, that's close to photorealistic, not quite. And then the way it does it is standard wise, when you rent, unless you put a bunch of flags here, which I'm not going to get into, it'll render 4 images. And this means upscale, so you can upscale 1, upscale 2, upscale 3 or 4, or you can do a variant of, say, 1. I really like this one, so let's go ahead and upscale it. And then let's do a variant of it. So that'll now give me wherever it went. And this is one thing I don't like, is there's so many people on here, but just look at the creativity here. That's a computer generating that. That's just wild. So there's my upscale, and upscaling takes a little bit. But yeah, that looks pretty good. I mean, it was kind of a little bit too much snow for what I'm used to. I lived in the Grand Canyon for a while, but for AI, that's just amazingly close. I mean, that's just crazy. So anyway, what you do is you come in here and kind of eavesdrop on the channels, and you can kind of see like, hey, that's a cool thing. So I'm going to grab this. And again, some people put in all sorts of words, and I'll show you what that looks like in a sec. But you just grab this and copy it over to a notepad somewhere. And then you're like, okay, if I ever want to do something similar, I've got, you know, I got it covered. I can just do that. So let's put in something that's really got a lot of keywords and see how that goes once this is done. This is almost done. So yeah, you can have stuff that looks, there's my variant, which is cool. But yeah, I mean, oops, yeah. That's, you know, pretty dang cool for 3D created art. All right, so now let's do one more render, and you know, like that's cool. Like I like the way that looks. So I'm gonna grab that, and then I can use that again later, and change it. You know, that's probably the easiest way to learn. And then you can kind of see what people are doing with their flags and stuff. And you can always do like, you know, help, and I want you to double enter it. And then it kind of shows getting started, a quick guide, basic commands, that type of stuff. By the way, when you come in here, it's, you know, I don't know how much money it really is, but you get some free images, and then you can do like a standard license, which is $10 a month, and that gives you like 200 pictures. Or you can do like the standard big license, which is like $30 a month. That's what I did, although I plan to scale it back. And that gives you just a ton of capacity. You know, I probably won't use that up. Again, just look at the creativity. All right, but anyway, I'm going to copy a bunch of keywords. Let's get something pretty cool. This is just something I grabbed, so it's not going to be too crazy. But it'll, no, let's get something that's more photorealistic. If I have one. I don't here. All right, so give me one sec. I might have it here. Anyway, just go ahead and watch this stuff. Watch this creativity that's coming up. Go to my Evernote here, which I thought I had open, but apparently I do not. AI art and my keywords. Go ahead and grab those. That's cool. And then you can do, some of the names, it's kind of hit or miss. It kind of struggles with some of the names. And I don't really know why that is. This one will be a good one. Let's show what this baby can do. Oh, do imagine. Again, most of this stuff I copied. So like I might have tweaked, Portrait of Conan the Barbarian. Who and you can do it story waves. I've seen people do it. Most people put commas and keywords, but you can type it out as a story. It was overweight, old, wearing armor, and drunk. Let's try that. Let's see what that'll give us. Okay, so yeah, there's a lot of keywords, but again, I only really dealt with this, and so I'm starting to understand what these flags mean. Like this is aspect ratio 7:5. Test P gives you a little bit of a different renderer. But again, scan lines, ray tracing, the 3D, the AI doesn't know that it's not supposed to, look insanely realistic. So ambient occlusion, anti-aliasing. So the AI is going to tweak the image to look like something that came out of that, even though rendering something like that would probably take a while. But with this, it spits it out in under a minute, which just blows my mind. But again, like you don't have full control. Like, you can't tell it what this is, although you can hit all sorts of variants. You say you don't like this. I noticed that it kind of struggles with helmets a lot. It, especially if you're doing like army stuff, like the helmets just do not work that well. But yeah, for quick and dirty, like say you're doing some character animation or something, you just want a little, little eye candy here and there in a book or something, this would work great. And that should cause fear in a lot of artists because I don't see you threatened by AI just yet, but, it's getting there. So that's pretty cool. I'm going to save that guy. All right, now I'm just going to do a tour of some of the stuff that I did. There's my channel. Let's go ahead and I won't do that. But anyway, here's just some highlights, some stuff that I did. Let's go ahead and do a different page. So check that out. Using it to create some dungeon geomorphs. Like if you're a D&D nerd, you can flatten this out a little bit. You can have them 1 here, 2 here, 3 here. Just kind of give you some flavor, some realistic chess pieces, even though I put the keywords in wrong. But it just came out here. Check out this for hyperrealism. I wanted this to be Han Solo at a Mos Eisley, but it ended up like this. But still, I mean, that's really hard to tell. That isn't a photograph. I was also checking out some like fake schematics for like role-playing game stuff. Here's a bar thing you could use for some kind of advertising or something. Yeah, Orc Warrior. I'll just go through. Got another guy in a bar. I was hung up on guys in a bar today. And then let's say if you get like Crazy Talk or iClone, where you can kind of rig these pictures up and then have them talk. You can also do crazy stuff like line art. I did that earlier today. Some heraldry, some ancient ruin type stuff. A dude with a mullet at a bar. I might have to fix that with Photoshop, but that's all easy stuff. There's Putin. Again, sometimes it struggles with faces. Like I just cannot get it to do Donald Trump for whatever reason. It just looks bad. Some cyberpunk stuff. Using it to test out some product design. Creating some avatars for a game. Same with this. Same with this. Just crazy stuff. And again, you just watch the people's keywords, see what they put in. Here's what I mean about Donald Trump, how it doesn't really do it. Now I was doing that in a funky style. And one of the things you can do is you can go ahead and do look up artist styles, and then like that's what I was kind of doing here. And then when you render, you say, you know, make it like Olivia Kemp style. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's do imagine Italian city. Let's do pen, black and white. Let's do that. Olivia Kemp style. See what that gives us. So we'll check back in there. Getting some, oops, don't do that. Over here again. Do with a mullet, old cyber head. Just trying to get something, guy with a mullet and beard, rocker, vintage. I was trying to get a Roman centurion. It kind of has trouble with the helmets and stuff. Another rocker. Kind of general stuff I was working on. Cartoon dog. Some Roman market. Some full painting stuff. So I just went crazy. Some photorealistic stuff. Some abstract stuff for like a game. We're done over here. If I can get back here. Not there. Let's try here. Nope. Yeah, I could have planned this a little better. Sorry. Oh, here we go. So that one's not too great, but what you could do is you wanted to stick with it. You could go like, I want to do a variant on 4 and just kind of work with it, and then copy the parameters over, maybe add a couple few parameters. So I'll show a couple other. I was kind of just trying to see like what it could do. So I was trying to vary. I didn't do a lot of backgrounds yet, which I kind of want to do. Some cyberpunk stuff, goth girl in the post-apocalyptic, David Duchovny. This one I like. Viking ships and storms. You know, some of the really let me see if I can find one other one here. I'm gonna drag this out. Go to voice. Go to Google, because I sent some people some stuff here. It's pretty much the same stuff. But anyway, you kind of, and that was kind of, this one's interesting. I was experimenting with trying to have like a Roman legion, but again, see how it kind of has trouble with the helmets and stuff. I'm sure you could tweak it. Again, photorealistic pictures. You know, sometimes it'll kind of get screwy. Like if you look at some of the hands and like this little thing, what's that there? Just kind of depends on what mode it's in. New ancient. So pretty much the sky's the limit. I'm gonna shut off sharing. But yeah, it's just really cool. You just go, you play around. It sucked me in for $30 for at least a month. You know, there's all sorts of stuff like dungeon geomorphs. I was going to create a bunch of those. You can create all sorts of cyberspace backgrounds, and you can kind of think out of the box too. Like I was experimenting around with. That's where it gets weird. See, you'd have to. I was trying to create like evil necromancer, and again, you can get some good stuff by just doing imagine pencil art. Evil necromancer portrait. Full face. See what that gives. Oh, am I in the newbie channel? Use something on discrimination, man. So anyway, I really like it, and you know, right now it's just toy. Let me go to my channel while that's cranking. Pull this guy out. Or actually, I got it over here. So let's go to my channel, and I'll grab some things and kind of show you where that's trouble. Oh, that's a good one. Okay, here's a good example of it having trouble. So I was trying to do like a Vietnam, like a Marine going through the jungle. I think the keywords I had like Vietnam era Marine holding an M60. It didn't do the M60. It doesn't really do a good job with like guns and stuff, but it always kind of screws around with the head. It got the jungle really nice though. That's one of the things. Another one here that is kind of shows it getting funky is I tried to do a Roman centurion, and it just went off the rocker there. So here's my evil necromancer, and I mean, just look at that though. It'd take an artist, days to draw that. It's not me making this. It's not really the AI making it. It's hundreds of thousands of views of real artists that have made pictures that this thing has been trained on its data set, so it can create it. And another limitation I'll just mention right now is like these guys, like it's hard to get different points of view. Like it's pretty good at close-ups. You can kind of force it to do like a full body portrait. You can do environment stuff, but like let's say you want to take some single file people marching in a row and you want to look at it from the side or something like that. It seems to kind of struggle with that. So a lot of different perspectives, like in 3D rendering, you got a camera that you can move around and take your pictures. It's still got a lot of ways to go there. But again, yeah, for quick and dirty stuff, for like avatars for mobile apps and games, that's pretty crazy. Again, look at this one for like that for photorealism. That's just crazy, and you can get stylistic with cyberpunk and I kind of like this one. I wish I knew where that one was and I'd redo it. Different types of art styles, heraldry, ancient ruins. It's just crazy. So anyway, what else can I show you before I go? Yeah, you can get photorealistic like this guy, and you can make the pictures bigger if you want, of course. Yeah, it's just crazy. It's just crazy. And sometimes it'll give you kind of goofy results too, like you're expecting, like I did like Mummy Rising from a Crypt. And it got all kind of weird and cartoony. Still cool, but just not what I was after. And this is kind of a practical thing. I was going to create some dungeon morphs and use that. So yeah, check it out. What is this thing called again? It is called Discord. It's called Midjourney. So just Google or Start Page or DuckDuckGo or some search engine and find. This was a pretty cool one. I like that one too. And these are all done under a minute. Just look up Midjourney? Is that what they call it? Yeah, Midjourney, and then get an account on Discord if you don't have one, and just go to work and start playing around. It's really cool. So I'm gonna close this window, or actually I'll go over here and stop. Yeah, let's close this window. Stop share. So anyway, thanks for listening. Leave comments in. Again, Midjourney, and you don't have to be that great. Sometimes you can put in really basic keywords and get some amazing results. Another thing to do is look up those artists and say render in style of this artist or whatever. Play around with those keywords, and they'll create some amazing stuff. And if you're an artist, don't feel bad. You're just gonna have to up your game and do the different angles and stuff like that, because it's gonna take a while for it to do that. What's crazy is in the future they will be able to do videos, like full motion videos, but that's going to be a while. And the path to it is going to be different, but I don't want to get into all that. So Midjourney AI artwork creation, check it out.